All right, guys. So today I'm gonna go over my entire history of working out and keto and all that kind of stuff. I get a lot of questions on how long I've been lifting and how long I've been keto and all of that kind of stuff. I'm gonna dig into a little bit of when I had my eating disorders and things like that, so you guys can get a big picture of how my weight and how my body has fluctuated throughout this whole process. So let's just get to starting actually back when I was in high school. I did cross country, I did softball, I did a bunch of sports. I guess that was back in 2006, 2007, or maybe 2005, 2006. And that was the last year that I actually did sports. So since then, I had started my unhealthy living, not caring about what I was eating, living the college type of life, even though I wasn't really going to school. But that all kind of tumbled me down into this not great lifestyle. Then I started having my stomach issues, and that led me to changing up my diet and my exercise. So we're gonna start in 2015. So at this point in my life, I was living in Washington State. I had met, I had just met Robert in 2014, and we were kind of off and on during this time. So I had gone to a couple of his competitions, and I knew that I needed to get my health in check. So I was okay, I'll just start lifting and see what I can do. I saw the girls on the stage, and I was like, I could totally be that girl. So in August of 2015, I started my lifting. I started going to the gym in the middle of the night because I was super embarrassed about the way I looked, not really having experience in the gym, all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to show you guys a few pictures as we go through all of this so you can kind of see the different stages of what my body looked like. So I'm going to go ahead and put some pictures on of when I first started lifting. So these pictures, you can kind of see that I was very thin. I did not have any muscle. I didn't even know how to stand properly for these poses. So during that time, I had kind of been off and on keto. Robert was trying to get me to start it. I was doing some diets that the doctors had me doing. But then I actually started around December of 2015. So August, September, October, November. 4 months after I started lifting, I had started keto. So all of the muscle and everything that I've been building is off of a ketogenic diet lifestyle. So I still kind of, started looking about the same, but I was consistent with going to the gym. I was very into doing cardio and lifting. I finally got over that fear of going to the gym and that kind of a thing. So started going to the gym with Robert, actually. He began to be my workout partner, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, I was going every single day. I loved it. So, as time goes on, about 2016, I kind of had the urge to compete. I asked someone to monthly check in on me, and so we can look at my body fat. She was helping me with posing, and here's a couple of pictures of that. You can see at this point that I've gained a little bit of muscle. I still was not stage ready, and I began to recognize that after going to a couple of these sessions that I just wasn't built enough for competing just yet. But I was also majorly dealing with some eating disorder type stuff around this time. Of course, trying to go keto, I was so carb addicted. Also, earlier in that year, I was smoking cigarettes, I was drinking a lot, so I pretty much quit everything all at the same time, and I started to have these crazy binging urges. And when I was binging on carbohydrates. That is one reason why I had to completely stop eating carbs. I'm not the person that can go in and out of ketosis. I have to either be one or the other, and so I choose to be keto. So during that time, I started to have the urge to compete, but again, what didn't really feel like my body was quite ready, so I still needed to build a little bit. Beginning of 2017 is when I stopped binging. I finally put my foot down and said, no more. You are not allowed to do that anymore. You're doing terrible things to your body, and you feel terrible afterwards. So why do you do it? So that was the last time I ever had a carbohydrate meal, was in January of 2017. Then after that, I continued to build and build and build. During this period of time, Robert and I moved from Washington State to Arkansas, and just continued to build. We didn't really know a lot of people, so we spent a lot of our time either working or going to the gym. And then in October of 2017, I decided it's time. It's time to compete. I didn't have any pressure. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know any of the competitions around here. So I was like, this is it. I'm ready. I'm ready to compete. So I'm going to put up some pictures of that as well. In this one, you can tell I definitely have a little bit more muscle than I did the previous year. And I also have a little bit more body fat. You have to have a little bit of body fat in order to build muscle. You have to be eating in an excess to build the muscle. You just need that. So I felt really good at this point, but I was not eating enough calories. So before I started my prep, for the next 2 months, I ate in excess. So I ate a lot of calories, more than my body needed, so that I could start my prep at a higher amount of calories. That way we had a lot more to taper down from. So you'll see in these next pictures that in December of 2017, I started my prep. And you can see the difference between the pictures in October and the pictures in December. I gained a lot of weight. This was because I was eating a lot more. I was kind of at this point force feeding myself to make sure that I could build up the metabolism to eat that much food so I can slowly taper it down. So I did gain a little bit of weight in that period of time, but it was time to start my prep. So then we get into 2018 and I'm in my prep and I've been losing weight consistently every week. My prep was 22 weeks long, and this was actually getting pretty close to my prep. So this is just some pictures of me getting leaner, just to kind of show you guys the big difference from when I started to now, or to, a point of my prep, how much weight I had lost and what my body was kind of going through. So this was earlier in the year. And then April of 2018, I finally did my show. So here's a couple pictures of my competition. I ended up winning first place, which was absolutely amazing. There was some girls that looked a little leaner than me. There were some girls that looked a little bit bigger than me, but I think what I brought to the stage is a full package of just being very consistent throughout my body. I was consistently lean from head to toe, and I was consistently built from head to toe. I had very wide lats, and everything was just built symmetrical, and that's a lot of what they're looking for. So I was able to do that. This is kind of when it gets a little bit hard for me again. I start having urges to binge eat again, and this time I said no carbs, because that's what got me so sick before. But instead of doing no carbs, I ate keto foods, and I still was binging. I was eating probably 5,000 or 6,000 calories every day that I would binge. This was a really, really hard time for me. I didn't know this, but I had previously had some hormone issues that I was dealing with, and going through the prep actually just made it worse. So I was having a little bit of a hard time. Now, these next pictures is really hard for me because this is the heaviest I ever got. For some people, you're like, that's nothing. But this is the heaviest weight I've ever been in my life. And it happened all between April and September. That's not a very big time span to put. During my show, I was 127 pounds. That was my show day weight. And then my heaviest weight ever, I was 161 pounds. So I gained over 30 pounds of fat and muscle after my show just within a couple of months. So I want to show you guys those pictures to show you that even though I'm considered a bodybuilder, even though I'm in this space and I'm supposed to be providing you guys with all the right information and all the right stuff, I myself, in my journey, have gone through so much. There's so many highs and lows. I mean, going from just being no muscle to muscle but a little bit more fat, to even more muscle but a little bit of fat, to, starting my prep and gaining a little extra weight, to going to the leanest I've ever been in my entire life, and now the heaviest I've ever been in my entire life. So the fitness journey is not simple, easy, quick. It is a roller coaster. It is up and down and all over the place, and that's okay. But realize that every single person goes through this. It's not a perfect pathway. You have to work hard to get where you want, and sometimes the mental struggle is a little bit more than the physical. So anyways, that was in September of 2018. It's been over a year since then, but this is when I started realizing I had some hormone issues that I was dealing with. So in April of this year, I started working with Allie Miller to heal some of my hormones, to just feel better. And I started, we actually got married this same month as well. And between then and now, I have lost a total of, I think it's been like 20 pounds, around 20 pounds. And that's simply just by healing my hormones, getting rid of all the inflammation, stopping binging. All of that kind of stuff has led to me to where I am now. And these are just pictures I randomly took in the gym the other day. Nothing fancy, not posing like a lot of the other pictures, but you guys just saw my previous video of my cut. Now, I'm happy where I am. I'm very healthy. I have plenty of body fat, but I have all the muscle that I want. I'm going to be building every single day, and I'm going to go lift every single day, of course with rest days in between. But I'm finally to the point where I feel healthy. In some of the pictures you will be able to notice like my back acne and things like that, where I was just so unhealthy. You can see it in my face how miserable I looked at times. And now I feel happy and joyful, and I don't feel depressed anymore. There's not a lot of anxiety and things like that I was dealing with at those times. So this whole big picture is just to show you all the ups and downs like I mentioned before. 2020, I got big plans for myself and haven't really talked about them. I'm still trying to figure everything out, trying to organize everything and how I want to do it. But big plans, no matter what I do. I'm not going to compete in bodybuilding again, at least in the near future. But, you can always build yourself. You don't have to compete in something. You don't have to be the winner of a race. You don't have to do anything big like that. But as long as you have big plans for yourself, big plans for your fitness goals or your health goals, maybe it's just to stop binging. Maybe it's to compete. Maybe, it could be anything. But make sure you have big plans ahead. So that's me for next year. So I wanted to actually go over this as well, just little key points. So I've been lifting for a total of 4 years. In this last August, a couple of months ago, I had been lifting for 4 years. In December, I will have been keto for 4 years, and the last time I had a carbohydrate meal was over 3 years ago. The heaviest weight I ever got was 161 pounds, and the lightest of this whole story is 127 pounds. Now, like I said, your weight can fluctuate. Your body composition is going to fluctuate. I don't even have my measurements up here, but guys, it's been up and down and all over. Sometimes my measurements were bigger because it was fat. Sometimes my measurements were bigger because it was muscle. But no matter what, just out of all of this, I've realized that I need to love my body in every place that I am. Back to the leanest I've ever been, I thought I still had plenty of fat. You guys saw those pictures, and you can see I didn't have very much fat on me, but I thought I was still fat. And that's almost what led me into body dysmorphia and eating disorders and things like that, because I still at that point thought I wasn't good enough. So it's an up and down roller coaster. Talk to someone about it. Ask people their story. Keep working hard for what your goals are. At this point, I did not ever think I would get to where I am now. I didn't, because I had to stop smoking, I had to stop drinking, I had to stop doing all the things that I was doing, eating fast food and junk. And to where I am now is an absolute game changer. It's completely different than anything I ever thought I would be living or doing or breathing, or it's amazing. It's amazing the process that you can go through. So I actually hadn't really broken anything down until I decided to do this video. Do it. Go back and break it down. Break it down for yourself. Bring up pictures, like old pictures of like you flexing at the gym or whatever it is, to remind yourself of how far you've come. So that is it for you guys. I hope you enjoyed learning about my fitness kind of life and when it started and how long I've been doing and all that kind of stuff. I get these questions all the time, so I hope that kind of filled you guys in a little bit. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon.